Hi, I'm Dolly Simonovich. Welcome to Senior Moments. Today's show is about fall prevention, and we'll be with our specialist in just a moment. But I wanted to tell you a little bit about it. I mean, we see children fall all the time, and they just brush themselves off and go run away and continue their play. But as people get older, the falls become more serious. Just a few years ago, my father slipped, fell off a curb, hit his head, broke his hip, and a few days later he had surgery, and everything seemed fine, but he passed away later that night. So falls can be serious. So I'd like to introduce my guest today, Kelly Ward. Welcome to our program, Kelly.
Hi, Dolly. Thanks for having me.
Please tell us about yourself a little bit.
Well, I work for the San Mateo County Fall Prevention Task Force, and what our mission is to increase awareness of things that are causing older adults to fall and how they can reduce that risk, because falls are the leading cause of admission to emergency rooms. So it's estimated that 1 in 3 adults over the age of 65 falls each year, and if you're over the age of 80, 1 out of 2 people falls each year. So falls are quickly becoming a growing public health epidemic as the baby boomers are reaching elderly status. That's the bad news. The good news is that the risk of falling can be reduced.
Now, once you've fallen, the likelihood of your falling again, has that increased?
Oh yes, yeah. It's you're twice as likely to fall again once that you've fallen the first time.
And it's probably caused by the same reason as the first fall?
Every fall is different, and although falls are associated with growing older, they're not a normal part of the aging process. There is an underlying cause that causes somebody to lose their balance, normally. And so if that same condition is going on and the person goes to the emergency room, they're released, no education, no intervention, go back to the exact same environment, they're more than likely to fall again.
Where are most falls likely to occur?
50% of falls occur in the home. And what room do you think that most of the falls occur in?
I'd say bathroom.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a small space. It's estimated that 60% of falls are related to the surface or lighting. Okay, so in the bathroom, we have slippery surfaces, wet floors. It could be dark, not so much the lighting in there, but it's a small space, so you have to maneuver. And
towel on the floor.
Yeah.
Instead of a nice rug or carpet.
Right, yeah, so it could be slick in there, and the more serious falls occur in the bathroom because of the hard surfaces.
And then if you hit something,
yeah,
it's a hard surface too.
Exactly,
yes.
Exactly.
What kind of recommendations do you make for people to reduce the falls?
Well, fall prevention researchers have identified 3 different ways to really approach fall risk reduction. And one, of course, the #1 way to prevent a fall is to remain active. So you want to be following a consistent exercise program. Secondly, it's home safety. We want to do some type of home safety modifications because that's where most of the falls are occurring, because that's where we spend most of our time, such as installation of grab bars, things like that. We can talk about some of those. And then medication management, because fall prevention researchers have identified 4 or more medications as a fall risk factor. So it puts your system is more vulnerable. So a lot of older adults are taking more than 4 medications, and especially ones that affect your central nervous system. So if you're taking medications that slow you down a little bit, such as sleeping medications, they can have a delayed effect.
So this is over-the-counter type things?
As well, yeah. So it's prescription and non-prescription medications. Yeah, so the way to reduce your risk of a fall is to remain active, do some home safety modifications, and medication management, and also get your vision checked.
So would you recommend like a safety check in the house? Like when everybody's grandchildren or great-grandchildren come over, they do a safety check. This is safe, this is safe. They put little plugs in the outlets and so on so little fingers don't go in there. So do we need a safety list for
absolutely.
seniors?
Yeah, and there are home safety checklists available where you methodically go through each room and you're looking for certain things. You want to get rid of clutter. First of all, we have our hoarders. Now we've got to watch out. You want to keep pathways clear of clutter. Electric cords, like you mentioned, you don't want them hanging, draping through the floor, because sometimes we just don't pick up our feet sometimes when we're walking around our house. The installation of grab bars and grab poles is a good idea. And there are agencies in the community that will come out there at low to no cost for those that qualify.
And you don't really need to be disabled to get those things either.
No, absolutely not. Home safety modifications are not a sign of weakness. They're tools for independence. So we want to help people age in place. And there are aging in place specialists. And Rebuilding Together is one company, nonprofit agency that will come out and assess your home. But yeah, to go through each room and to look, make sure that there's enough lighting. So when you are going from a well-lit room into a dark room, that can be a hazard because the eyes need time to adjust. Having night lights, having a night light when you're getting up in the middle of the night to use the restroom. Having a night light to illuminate your pathway is much safer than just getting up or even using a flashlight. Your throw rugs. Everybody has throw rugs, and it's so cliche, oh, get rid of the throw rugs. Some people really like their throw rugs, and they don't have to get rid of them. But what we recommend is that they get the double-sided adhesive tape, and they put that underneath the throw rug, and that secures the carpet to the floor. So then that way the edges don't come up if you are dragging the feet.
Yes. So one recommendation would be to go through the house yourself with a critical eye. This is safe, oh, this isn't safe, and then correct it the best you can. Exactly. And then the second thing would be to bring in a second organization, and they come in and say, okay, this looks good, but now you need a grab bar here, or a safety bar here, a safety bar there, or whatever, and they can do those extra little things for you to make it even safer.
Absolutely, like toilet seat risers. I mean, that's just something durable. Medical equipment supply companies have those. And the grab bars in the bathroom to really make that safe. Handrails down the hallway, so when you're walking, you have something to hold on to. So yeah, make the house as safe as possible.
Well, I can't tell you how many people tell me, oh, my husband was up on the step ladder the other day. He's up on the ladder doing this, he's up on the ladder doing that, and he's 95 years old. And I think, oh, wow. I imagine you'd have a comment about that.
Yes, I definitely would. Yeah, would be very frightened, first of all. But, there comes a time when we need to be aware of our limitations and really start to think about our safety. And like you said, when kids fall, it's not that big a deal. But when an older adult falls, the consequences are much worse. So, have somebody come in, a relative or a neighbor or a friend and change that light bulb or do what they need to use if you need to use the step ladder. In the kitchen, you want to put things within your reach. You don't want to have things way up on top of the shelf or way up on top of the refrigerator. You want to try to keep things within your reach.
Especially things that you use all the time.
Exactly.
And reduce clutter. That's a big thing too.
Loose magazines, loose newspapers laying around. Just get the little basket that sits by your chair
and keep those things
put them all in there.
When I mentioned to my sister that I was going to do this show, she says, tell them about bed skirts. And I thought, because she says a lot of people fall because their feet get caught in their bed skirts.
Yes, yeah.
So, I mean, little things that you wouldn't even think are dangerous could make a big difference in your life.
Exactly.
We're going to take a break right now, and we'll be right back with you. We'll be back with you in just a moment.
of things to come, and tell the trees not to look for me. I'm going to find some peace of mind. Wake the sun, wake the sun, wake the sun, wake the sun.
In 1988, our dear friend Paul Newman had a vision. A place where kids with serious illnesses could just be kids.
So he founded a camp. And the joy of playing, laughing, and simply belonging had a profound effect.
Freeing the children to reach beyond their illnesses and discover new strength.
From that one camp, the Serious Fun Children's Network has grown, serving 30,000 kids globally every year.
At no cost to their families.
Please help us continue Paul's vision. Visit SeriousFunNetwork.org.
Why do you like San Bruno Cable?
San Bruno Cable is a reflection of San Bruno itself. It's a great service for a great community.
It really gives us input and information on what's going on locally.
I've never had a problem. The amount of channels are good. Abundance. Sit there for hours just flipping channels instead of watching one, actually.
Keep up the good work. Thank you for choosing San Bruno Cable.
Welcome back. I'm here with Kelly Ward, a specialist on fall prevention. So Kelly, we sort of did an overview about falls and all these things that are happening to people. Let's get into some specifics. What really causes someone to fall?
Fall prevention researchers have identified two different types of fall risk factors, or things that increase the likelihood of a fall. And the two different types are internal, things going on inside of your body, and external, and those are things going on in your environment, out and around you. We usually don't have too much control of the stuff going on inside of us, but we can modify the external, like we just got done talking about, was the home environment. That's one of the #1 ways that you can reduce your risk of a fall in the external environment. So let's talk about what's going on inside, some of the internal, intrinsic fall risk factors. So first of all is your attitude. Okay, so some people who fall become afraid of falling again. And they get caught in what is known as the cycle of fear. And this is a psychologically recognized fear of falling associated with falling down. And so what happens is that person says, oh, well, I'm not going to go out to the senior center today because that sidewalk's a little uneven and I'm scared I'm going to fall again. So they stay at home. And so they limit their activity. The less they do, the weaker they become. We've all heard it before.
That's right.
Use it or lose it.
That's right.
Okay, and so they isolate, they stay at home, and so it's a vicious cycle, and they can get stuck in this cycle of fear. You can't just say, oh, come on, let's go out, because this person is honestly afraid. So there is a program called Matter of Balance, and that program deals specifically with the fear of falling. Okay, so you have the fear of falling is one attitude, and then you have your overconfidence, which person thinks, oh, I'm not going to fall. That's what happens to older people.
I can do that.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. And they don't respect their body's limitations. They don't realize you're not 25 years old anymore. So they put themselves in unsafe situations. And unfortunately, we don't have a program for that, for the overconfidence. So it's learning to learn your body's limitations and be aware of your limitations and just to slow down when you're doing things. Okay, so your attitude is your first internal fall risk factor. And the second one is your medical condition. Okay, so it's the number of medical diagnoses that you're living with. So, for instance, if you have diabetes, you have congestive heart failure, you have asthma, the more conditions that you're living with, the greater your risk of falling because your internal body is more vulnerable. And Dolly, what does a doctor usually do when you have a medical condition? When you're diagnosed with a medical condition, what does a doctor usually do?
Most often, I think they give you some kind of drug to take care of the situation.
Exactly. They're going to write you a prescription to manage your condition. Okay, so the medications that you're taking have a big effect on your fall risk. And medication management is kind of an external factor, but let's talk about it right now because fall prevention researchers have identified 4 as the magic number. So if you're taking 4 or more medications, you're at a greater risk of falling, especially if those medications affect your central nervous system. Okay.
And how would you know if your medication did that? I mean, which specifically?
What types? Okay,
yes.
Anti-anxiety medications, some antidepressants affect your nervous system. Sleeping pills, as I had mentioned before. There are lists of medications, and you can talk to your pharmacist about the medication. Look at the side effect. Most side effects of medications are what? Dizziness or loss of balance or fatigue. So what we really recommend is that you become your own advocate.
Yes.
So you really have to be your own advocate, especially when you're taking these medications. They cost a lot. They're hard on your body. You need to know what organ it's affecting, what body part it's affecting. Be aware of your side effects so you can kind of adjust your activity ahead of time. So you know if you take that little yellow pill that makes you dizzy, you don't really need to be out doing your housework after that.
Right.
It's also recommended that you do what is known as a brown bag day. So you put all your medications into one brown bag and you go to your pharmacist or you go to your doctor and you say, hey, look at this. Because if you're getting medications from your neurologist and from your cardiologist and then from your general practitioner, you could be taking 3 of the same medications. Or you could be taking medications that are canceling each other out. So again, it's real important that you're your own advocate, and you know those pharmacists are there to help us, so they really will.
You may want to bring someone with you or take someone with you to the office. I know that a number of my senior friends say, you know, if I didn't go with my husband, he wouldn't have known anything. He would have come home, he would have told the doctor he was fine, no symptoms. He would have come home and told me he was fine. If I wasn't there, I wouldn't have known anything that was going on, and either would the doctor. So sometimes you have to bring your advocate with you.
Very, very good. Very true. And also, it's good to have a medication list of everything that you're taking, what you're taking, the dose, and the time of day that you're taking it. So that, and just keep it somewhere. So that way, in case something happens, people have this record for you. As we get older, our kidneys slow down, the functions slow down. So what happens is the medication stays in your system longer. Okay, so
are we over-medicated?
Very well could be. For older adults, it's half of what it is
really?
For younger adults. Yes, and so really want to have good communication with your doctor. You know, is this the correct dosage for me? My grandmother had been taking the same dosage of a medication for 10 years. Okay, but she had lost 15 pounds over that 10 years. So it had a stronger effect on her body. So our kidneys have a slower clearance time. The medication stays in your body a little bit longer. So you need to make sure that you're taking the proper dosage.
You said that there were some other things besides medication?
Okay, so advanced age itself is also a fall risk factor. More people, as we get older, don't feel as stable as we used to. Sarcopenia is the natural loss of muscle mass associated with aging, and it starts in about age 30. All right, so we just start to lose muscle mass at about 5% per decade in our 30s. By the time you're in your 60s, you're losing muscle mass up to 20% per decade. And
Per decade?
Per decade.
Okay.
Yeah. So the less you do, the quicker you're going to lose it. So that's why it's so important to stay active, to do chair stands, to be in a strength building exercise program. So you want to start to keep your legs nice and strong. Mm-hmm. Sensory input changes as we get older as well. So there's 3 sensory systems involved in balance, and that's your eyes, your ears, and your feet. Okay, so you want to make sure that you have your vision checked a lot. Mm-hmm. If your ears is your vestibular system, and that when you turn your eyes and your head, you can get vertigo. Mm-hmm. Anybody gets vertigo, that can make you very dizzy. Mm-hmm. So you want to see a doctor about that. And when I say your feet, I'm talking about the sensory system underneath your feet called the somatosensory system. And mm-hmm. Can you think of a disease that affects your feet? It's on the uprise. It's on the rise right now.
No.
Diabetes.
Diabetes.
Yeah. One of the long-term consequences of diabetes is peripheral neuropathy, and that's the burning and the sensation in the feet and the inability to feel the pressure underneath your feet.
To feel the floor.
Yeah.
To feel where you are on the floor.
Exactly.
To feel where,
so if you can't feel the ground underneath your feet, your risk of falling is huge. So really want to become more aware of your body position in space and really becoming aware of how you're carrying your body. Our balance is a very intricate messenger system. So what happens is we get our sensory systems pick up information from the environment, goes up here to the brain, processes that, sends out a response. So it's action and reaction.
Mm-hmm. Before you fall down, if you're getting dizzy, go down. Go down on purpose.
Sit down.
To get rid of the dizziness, because the dizziness is caused by the blood leaving your head, isn't it?
That's orthostatic hypertension. That can sometimes happen with position changes. So as you change position, if you're laying down and you go up to seated to standing, if you do that too quickly, you become very dizzy. And that's just because you haven't given the blood enough time to catch up with the body.
Yes.
Okay, so
you're moving too fast
for
your blood.
Yeah, and again, you have to remember, things have changed as we get older, so you need to make sure that you're doing your position changes a little bit slower, so you give your body time to adjust, going from the laying position to the seated. So again, the different types of exercises, okay, that's an external fall risk factor that you can control. Like I said, a lot of people just don't feel as stable as they used to. So fall prevention researchers recommend 4 different types of exercise to do. One, of course, is balance training. Of course, you want to do some type of strength training so you can remain strong, because we need muscle to remain independent. Your legs are your fall prevention muscles. So one of the best exercises that somebody can do to help reduce the risk of a fall is just getting up out of the chair, doing chair stands, do several, like 5 or 6 in a row, set a personal record. It's all individualized. And you want to do that.
Practice.
Yeah.
Practice makes perfect.
That's right. So your legs get you up and your hips keep you up. So we need to do some hip strengthening exercises also. You want to keep your whole leg nice and strong. So the upper leg, doing your chair stands, and doing toe raises and heel raises also help you to prevent you from dragging your toes.
Is that standing on your feet and lifting your toes?
You can start from a seated position, and then as you get better, you can do them standing.
Holding on to something.
Yes, always.
Raise up.
Yeah, lift the toes, and that can be that really helps a lot. So you have to stretch what you strengthen. All right, so we're doing the balance, we're doing the strength, but you've got to stretch what you strengthen.
Absolutely.
Especially the lower body.
Oh, really?
The lower body is very important in stretching because that affects our walking gait. Because if you're not flexible in your hamstring, in the back of your leg, or your ankles, then it affects your walking gait. Okay, so you want to do some seated stretching exercises. Balance really is about keeping your belly button over your feet. Whether you're seated or whether you're standing, whether you're walking, that's what balance is. And if you have poor posture and you're hunched over, then you're already putting yourself at a disadvantage. So really becoming aware of better posture and sitting upright can help you, can help reduce your risk of a fall and keep you better aligned. So you have the balance and the strength and flexibility, and the last one is endurance. We need to do some type of endurance training. So walking is a fabulous exercise, and it's highly recommended that people get out and they walk. But remember, that's just one type of exercise. You need to supplement that with the balance and the strengthening and stretching exercises as well.
You know, we have a senior center here that's very active. We've got Tai Chi, Qigong, Pilates, numerous dance classes, ukulele, all sorts of things that people can get in. Zumba.
Absolutely.
All sorts
Absolutely.
of dancing, free.
Yeah.
Free dancing. And, you know, they've got a band like 3 times a week or some kind of music where people can go up there and dance. And, you know, there's not always enough men.
Yeah, never.
So it's all right. We just get out there and dance. And a lot of it is line dancing where you don't need a partner. So you would probably recommend that they use the facilities within their community.
Absolutely. Senior centers are a wonderful place. They have some really good programs. They have the stretching and they have the strengthening exercises. Stanford has the Farewell to Falls program, and that is free. What it is it's occupational therapist visits the home twice, comes out and assesses
Really?
your home. Yes.
Even up in San Bruno? Would they come up this far?
Yes. Yes, they do. And
Check on that.
yes, they do. And then it's a follow-up telephone calls for a year. And I mean, and there's an exercise program that the people are doing at home as well. And then the one final visit by the occupational therapist.
Now, this is especially good for the people who have that fear of falling.
Yeah, if you're not getting out in the community and you would prefer to do something at home, maybe that would be a good choice for you.
Okay.
Mills Peninsula offers the Fall Proof Balance and Mobility Training program there. And Fall Proof is a wonderful, wonderful balance training program that is progressively challenging, and it is specifically works on the sensory systems involved in balance and the muscles as well.
Okay.
That is a fee-based program. Okay, so there are fee-based programs and there are free ones. A new one that is evidence-based program is the Stepping On program, and Stanford will be offering those as well. And that's a 7-week program that helps really increase awareness of fall risk factors and how to change them.
There's help out there for it.
Absolutely.
Let's take a break now.
For sure.
We'll be right back.
In 1988, our dear friend Paul Newman had a vision. A place where kids with serious illnesses could just be kids.
So he founded a camp. And the joy of playing, laughing, and simply belonging had a profound effect.
Freeing the children to reach beyond their illnesses and discover new strength.
From that one camp, the Serious Fun Children's Network has grown, serving 30,000 kids globally every year.
At no cost to their families.
Please donate today to help change a child's life. Visit SeriousFunNetwork.org.
You know the old saying, the grass is always greener on the other side. Well, it may look that way, but when you get up close, it's all weeds and stickers. Those big company TV providers may have great introductory offers, but read the fine print. Do you have to sign a long-term contract? Do they offer free service calls? And just how high do their rates go after the limited time offer expires? At San Bruno Cable, you sign no long-term contract. Our rates are easy to understand without surprises, and if you experience a problem, we offer free service calls on the next business day. Thank you for choosing San Bruno Cable.
Quiet, please. Wait a sec. I'll take one. Oh yeah. All right. All good. Take care. Way to go. Nice. Bring it on. Gotcha. I'm here for you. Oh no. Please, please, please. I'm waiting. Interesting. Not buying it. Not fair. That's it. This conversation is over. Oh, brother.
Body language can tell you all sorts of things.
I'm having a stroke. I'm having a stroke.
Know the sudden signs. Learn fast. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time. Time to call 911 immediately. The sooner they get to the hospital, the sooner they'll get treatment. And that can make a remarkable difference in their recovery. Learn the body language, the sudden signs, and spot a stroke fast.
The women we love, the women who love us, they are dying. Heart disease is our #1 killer, taking more lives than all forms of cancer combined. But we have the power to save those lives, our lives, because the greatest force for women is women. It's time to stand together, to fight harder, to shout louder. It's time to go red for women.
Hi, welcome back. I'm Dolly Simonovich, and this is Kelly Ward, our fall specialist. We talked about a lot of internal and external factors that can cause falls. Is there anything else that you can think of that would help us prevent our falling?
Absolutely. And these are more related to external environment, things that you kind of have control over. So you decide what type of exercise you want to do, if you want to exercise at all, which is highly recommended. But also diet. So what you're putting into your body. Food is like fuel to your engine, like fuel to your car. Our food is fuel to our body. So you want to make sure that you're putting in good quality food. You want to try to stay away from highly processed foods. So what's highly processed? Just know that the longer the shelf life, the worse it is for you. Or if you read the labels and you need a chemistry book to decipher the first 4 ingredients, it's probably pretty highly processed. So, you know, the food pyramid has changed quite a bit in the past couple years, but the basic message is the same. Once you eat a lot of fruits and vegetables, lean proteins, minimize your fats, your sugars, and your alcohol. Stay away from that stuff. The best thing that you can do is stay hydrated. Drink purified water. A good tip is to keep some water by your bedside and drink that before your feet even hit the floor. I mean, your muscles are 70% water and your brain is 85% water. So if you're tired or you're not thinking clearly, it could be because you're dehydrated. And our thirst mechanism doesn't work as efficiently when we get older. So you don't realize you're thirsty till you're already partially dehydrated.
Well, I've also heard that a lot of times people eat when they're thirsty instead of drinking something.
You might say, wow, to drink half of my body weight in fluid ounces of water, that's too much. Then drink high water content fruits and vegetables. Okay, so lettuce has a lot of water in it, and cucumbers have a lot of water, and watermelon has a lot of water. So there's other ways that you can get the fluids into your body, because dehydration can cause dizziness, and that can cause you to fall as well.
And a lot of times the paramedics are called to the senior center because people are dizzy, and it turns out they're dehydrated.
Exactly. I don't highly recommend Gatorade and things like that because they do have a lot of sugar in them.
Yes.
But you do want to control the electrolytes. Yes. So definitely being aware and just trying to drink more water.
Let's get into, I've heard things about clothing and shoes, and
yes.
Would you talk about that a little bit?
Absolutely, and that's another extrinsic fall risk factor is, you know, what you're wearing. You want to make sure, you know, your robe at home fits, that the tie around the robe isn't dragging and hitting the floor. You know, like my grandmother, she's lost weight over the last couple years, so her clothes are baggier on her, and so you need to make sure that, you know, the pant length isn't too long, that you're like kind of tripping over that you're stepping on it, or if you're in the kitchen, that the length of the sleeve isn't interfering with the function that you're doing in the kitchen. And shoes are so important, really. You want to make sure that you're wearing a good pair of shoes. Shoes are like, tires to your car. I keep going with this car thing, but they need to be changed. You want to make sure that you're not wearing the same sneakers that you wore, 10 years ago. You want to make sure that you're checking the sole, that you're checking the bottom of the shoe, that it's not slippery. They have non-skid treads. So the leather shoes with the real slippery soles, gentlemen want to be careful as they're wearing those. You want to make sure that you have some sort of tread. You have a good heel, so you want to have good heel support because when you're walking, you strike with your heel first and you push off with your toe, so you're walking heel to toe. So you want to make sure you have a little bit of padding, a little elevated heel in the shoe, and want to make sure that you have good support, meaning that it secures around your entire foot. So slippers, not a good idea because they don't secure around your heel. So, I'm not saying don't wear your slippers, but
get the kind that come up around your heel.
Yeah, that they secure around your heel. Or if you do wear a pair of slippers at home, make sure that, that again, you're not wearing the same pair of slippers that you were wearing 10 years ago, because as they become worn, it's more likely that they fall off. And if they're not secured around your heel, then you will shuffle. And if you're shuffling, you're increasing your risk of tripping over objects on the floor. So yeah, making sure that you have a good shoe with a good fit. You want some wiggle room in the toes, and that it secures around there, and good arch support.
We've talked before about the balance and so on. I would think that as your eyes change as you get older.
Absolutely.
They get better in some cases and worse in other cases, and it's more difficult to judge. So what do you recommend with that?
Vision is a huge concern. It's estimated that 1 in 4 people over the age of 75 has some type of visual impairment. And the 3 leading causes of blindness are associated with advanced age, and they are macular degeneration, cataracts, and glaucoma. So what you want to do is you want to get your regular vision checks and early cataract surgery, get the cataracts removed. I have to mention that you just mentioned your eyes change. So you want to make sure that you're getting your eyeglasses checked regularly. Make sure that you're keeping them clean. Soap and water is a good way to keep the eyeglasses clean. And bifocals are a fall risk factor.
Are they? Why?
Yes, they are. The lower lens segment blurs objects in the lower field of your vision.
So you have to look down so you can see where you're walking.
Exactly. So you actually need to tilt the head down rather than glancing through. What it's recommended is progressive lenses. Okay, so if you don't want to have a pair of reading glasses and a pair of glasses that you use when you're out walking, then get a progressive lenses where the lenses are blended together, so there's not so much, so the lower lens.
So there's no line.
Exactly, and it doesn't blur the objects at the lower.
I had trifocals, where you can see distance, and then you see 5 feet away, and then you see close.
Right. A progressive lens.
Those are progressive lenses.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like defensive. We do our defensive driving. I want you to think about defensive walking. So as you're walking, you're keeping your head, elevated, and you're looking forward at a vertical target. But when you're coming up to an object, or you're coming up to a surface that looks, look down. You need to tilt down to negotiate how you're going to get around the obstacles in your pathway. So really,
be aware.
Exactly.
Of what's going on.
And taking your time, make sure you're taking your time and picking the feet up. Pick them up, pick them up.
How about multitasking? we all think that we can do 3 things at once, like we used to do.
Exactly. One of the first things that we do is we quit paying attention to our body position in space and our balance. When you're multitasking, that's the first thing that we do, is we become unaware of what we're doing. So you're
unaware of the body and more aware of the task, or this task, or this task.
So you're unloading the groceries, you're talking on the cell phone, then somebody calls you over there, and you
trip over a cord.
Boom, and you didn't see, or you didn't see the curb there. So it's doing one task at a time. It could be just as much as when you get up out of the chair, get up and then turn. Or turned before they even get up, and then that's how they're losing their balance, is they get up out of the chair. So it's get up and then turn. So it's one task at a time. So really taking your time and just focusing on the task at hand.
Kelly, it's been such a joy to talk to you today. Is there anything else that you'd like to leave us with?
More and more communities are becoming involved in fall prevention, and nationally it has been recognized that the third week in September is Fall Prevention Week, and ironically it's on the first day of fall.
Oh, of course.
Yes, of course. So Fall Prevention Week is when there's a lot of activity going on in your local community, such as health fairs and screenings and educational opportunities, exercise demonstrations, things like that. So look for things going on at your local senior center or community center during the third week in September, which is Fall Prevention Week. You can visit our website, which is www.smcfallprevention.org. That's the San Mateo County Fall Prevention
I'm sure we'll have that
Force.
up on our screen too.
Yes, you will, and I appreciate your time today, Dolly.
Well,
Thank
we
you.
appreciate your coming here today. I hope everybody has learned something from this. I certainly have. Thank you for joining us today, and we'll see you next time on Senior Moments.
Here I am, I've fallen on the floor. How do I get up? Okay, primarily your objective is to get up without injuring yourself any further. So upon falling, once you've composed yourself, you want to do a head-to-toe assessment. Kind of look over your body, look and feel if anything is broken, how badly you're hurt, and then attempt to get up. What you're going to need to do is get over onto your belly. So if you're on your back, try to roll and get onto your stomach. Okay, if you experience excruciating pain and are unable to do so, don't try. Okay, at that point, you'll need to summon help. We can talk about that in a minute. But once you've gotten over onto your belly, if you're able to do so, you want to take and start out with your good leg and your good arm and try to get them underneath you. Then get up to your hands and knees and crawl. Don't try to stand up without some kind of support mechanism. Move over to a chair, a set of stairs, a coffee table, anything that you can grab hold of, and then work yourself up, always maintaining 3 points of contact at least. Bring over, and then pick yourself up. Use your good leg. If you have a bad knee, keep the bad knee on the floor. Even if that hurts more, you want to have the good knee underneath you. Pick yourself up and turn yourself into a chair. Once you're up in a chair, you can reassess the situation and then see if you're able to walk away.